KSW.
Yeah, that's what you do.
We roll on this
man. Is this an interview?
You're ready.
Are we actually interviewing?
Do it.
All right. I guess my first question is, being on the road, you got Miles Kennedy out there. The album that you put together, as far as the people involved in it, in my opinion, one of the best albums. Really is. It's just top to bottom is fantastic. Did you write the songs for the particular people who were coming in? And when you answer this, could you sign the book? Because it was $27 American, and I would like it. It was, how about the hardback? So when you answer the question, could you sign the book that you never read?
I read it when we were proofreading it.
Thanks.
You know,
that makes it. I'm going to hawk that on eBay.
You are.
No, I'm not. Of course not.
That's a commonly asked question. No, what I did was I just casually just wrote and recorded a bunch of music, and then would think who would sound good on each song.
Okay.
And for my catalog of great singers in my head, I just certain names would come to mind.
Did you ask Miles Kennedy what it was like to go and try out for Led Zeppelin? Could you imagine?
We had that conversation.
Could you imagine the pressure of that? Like, I mean, it's goddamn Led Zeppelin, right?
Yeah. We didn't get into it in that detail. We were at someone's house when I talked to him about it, and he was, it was definitely for him, a very humbling and intense experience. I think was the best way to describe it.
It would be like having sex with a centerfold, like performance anxiety. Like, I know I can do this.
No, you don't have to. You just do it.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
but you just got to do it, man.
Led Zeppelin.
Sorry, that's an argument we have among us. Man, how about this?
You should ask him. He can give you more in detail.
Okay, no.
You grow up, you do your thing. You want to play guitar. You just want to play guitar. Your band puts out this album. This album becomes the biggest thing as far as rock music is concerned. You move forward. Now there are the video games. They have the / likeness on was like Rockstar or whatever it is. I mean, at any point, and I know I read something that you've written where you said, "Look, man, you take it day by day. Life is what it is. It's been given to you." But every once in a while, you take a step back and you look and you go like, "Why do people care so much about what I do?" I mean, do you ever just say to yourself, "How did I get to the point where I've become this influential?" Which is the biggest thing, man. As far as rock music goes, forever. Right? You're on Rockstar now, which, every young generation comes up and they see it, and there it is. I mean, do you ever just think to yourself, like, how did this happen exactly?
Yeah, right? I work all the time, and I'm totally focused on what it is that I'm doing, writing or recording or playing. So I'm really an insecure musician, so I'm like completely, over the top focused on doing it better than I did it before, or trying to keep everything up to par. And all this other stuff that comes along with it, you just sort of go through different motions, you pick and choose what you think is cool or not cool, and you just do it, and then you go back to work. So I don't really think about, I don't have that vantage point of looking at myself like that.
But it never seems strange just that, people come to you now, and you're right, in the sense of, technology was what it was when you first hit. It's moved on. Here you are. You're one of the survivors, but you realize you actually are down a level of influence. It's one thing to say that I was in this band. It's another thing to say when people go, "Dude, it's right to me. I picked up the guitar because you did it." I mean,
yeah, that's a huge compliment. But that's from one human being to another.
Sure.
So that's different. That's more tangible, and it's easier for me to relate to because I did that when I was coming up learning how to play guitar, and that's something that I take to heart. Some of the other sort of more universal type of, I sort of, you don't want to get into the hype of all that.
Right. Do you still have the one-string guitar that was in the closet from your grandmother?
No, at some point or another.
Do you know what kind it was? Or can you replicate the guitar like if you found it? Would you know what it was? Like,
it was just an everyday, more or less inexpensive flamenco, style Spanish acoustic.
But you could have been one of the greatest BMX riders ever, and that screwed you entirely. Like, you could be somebody right now in the BMX circuit, but you're not. Do you ever think about that?
I still watch a lot of BMX stuff. I still keep up with it. And the thing about, I got really good at it, but I'm not competitive in a sports kind of way. I remember when I finally got to the expert level, people would do anything to win a race, you know. And I'm not that kind of guy, so I like to be good as best as I can possibly be, and if whatever it takes to do that. But I don't like the sort of the competition of really getting in there and trying to ace out the other guy.
Right.
So I don't think I would have lasted that long, because what I wanted to do was graduate to motocross, and that's got to be a very aggressive, competitive place to be.
As far as this year is concerned, there's been a lot of things this year, you know, personal, and you have this album, and now the album is so good. Does that kind of help you get through, you know, as far as your mom and everything else? I mean, does that aid in it, or is it one of those things like you're doing it for that reason?
No, I mean, everything, you know, mentioning my mom, that happened while I was making the record, and I think it was probably good for my own head that I had that to focus on while that was going on, because she was in stage 4 cancer, and it was a really, really miserable time, and I think it was probably healthy for me to have this project to be doing at the time, as opposed to not doing it, you know, because I think that would have overwhelmed me, her dying and all that, and she was very supportive up to the very, you know, last day, so I think that a lot of her spirit went into the final stages of making the record.
Has anyone surprised you as far as when you put yourself in a position, you earned it on your own, you go like, all right, I'm going to do a solo album.
Do you guys get together and do this to everybody?
Yeah, we do. We just jam.
And I want to let you know, this is how it worked. We found that we knew the show was coming. They said the show was sold out. We said, man, that's too bad. And we found out Thursday. They said Thursday, hey man, you guys are going to be interviewing Slash. We said, what are you talking about? They said, well, you're coming down Saturday, right? We said, well, I will.
So the 87 emails I've been getting for the past 4 months, nobody knew.
We had no idea. So they said, well, look, man, you got to interview Slash. And I said, I have had worse problems in my life than an interview. So seriously, from both of us, you know, in the sense of when Appetite came out, that was a big deal to everyone. And I don't know, I'm sure you've heard it 1 million times, and obviously your life has progressed since then. But to be part of a band, to be part of something that truly changed the face of a genre of music and get people back into it, is it something that you recognize the impact of what it is that the entire band, not just you, the entire band had at the time, and you don't understand where people will follow you to the bitter end, man.
Well, that's an important thing you just brought up, because it was an entire band. A lot of people start to focus on individual input, you know, or say, oh, you know, the sort of Slash and Axl thing and all that kind of crap. And it really was a whole band, and it was really something I'm very proud of, because those 5 guys who sort of probably, I've said this before, but were the only 5 guys in LA that could have made it, that band. It was such a combination put together from on high. It was like really a perfect sort of synergy and chemistry and all that. And we made one of those records that when I was a kid coming up, if you were cool, you had certain records in your record collection.
Sure,
that was right.
You know, you got
a base of judgment as to who you were hanging out with.